A very good afternoon as we say bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue ici en France. Welcome to the beautiful French Riviera for round 5 of the 2024 Italian F4 Championship. What a tremendous sight this is. Yes, the former home of the French Formula One Grand Prix. Unfortunately, not anymore, at least not for the moment, but it is host venue for this round 5 of the world's most competitive junior motor racing series, the Italian F4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion, together with the Automobile Club of Italy. 35 cars on the grid, which looks like this. Akshay Bora on pole position, an all-US racing front row of the grid. Jack out of grid 2, Hiyu Yamakashi. Grid 3, he's second in the series alongside Alex Powell. The Jamaican and the Japanese drivers on the second row of the grid. From Brazil, Matheus Ferreira, Ki Nakamura Berta, Rashid Alvaheri after that podium last week alongside Dion Gauda, Gustav Jonsson, also a podium in Mugello a week ago. Stolchamanis, Maxim Rem, good performance in qualifying. Starts alongside Kabir Anurag. Rino Franco, Gianmarco Pradel, Enya Frey, Luca Vistoriano for Real Racing, Popov, and Ethan Isha. For the Gensa Motorsport team, Andrea Kostic is the sole Serbian racing here this weekend, starting alongside Davide Larini. Out of grid 20, Enzo Ye, the sole entry for RA's GP after the withdrawal of Luca Samalista after that incident last week at Mugello. We wish him all the best. Luca, we hope to see you back on track soon, mate. Olivietti, Kamal Murad, the Sydney sider. Freddie Slater out of grid 24. Yes, you heard that right. We'll get back to the championship leader in a moment. Rodella, Fiorentino, Everett Stack, Jan Kohler, Ed Robinson, Gabriel Holguin, the first of the Maffei Racing drivers. They keep coming. Nathaniel Berby also for the Swiss team. Lin Hotenyu is back on 32. From Ukraine, Savinkov, Viktor Dobzhansky, and Kai Dadianani out of grid 35. Yes, grid 24. That has been the story of the morning. The championship leader, 10 victories from 12 starts so far in 2024. Freddie Slater, grid 24. Quite simply, a slow leak on a rear tyre earlier this morning. In qualifying, just limped around as Akshay Bora sets off on the formation lap and a pole position. Lost pressure. Stolchamanis is slow to get away. Or is that Dion Gauda? In fact, I'll tell you in a moment. Now we're underway. Dion does get car 50 fired up. Yes, Freddie Slater, the championship leader, he has dominated. He's got a 79-point lead in the championship. Coming into this round 5 of 7 for 2024, 10 victories from 12 starts. If he can make it 11 here this afternoon, it will be the drive of his life. He starts out of grid 24, a slow leak in the tyre. It wasn't actually a puncher, just lost pressure, had no pressure in the left rear by the end of qualifying. Limped around to just grid 24, which is commendable in itself. Does take pole position for race 3. That's tomorrow afternoon as Gianmarco Pradel goes through in car 12. He'll start out of grid 14 for US Racing, who lock out the front row of the grid with Akshay Bora, who also took pole position a week ago at Mugello in round 4 of the championship. Akshay Bora also pole position a week ago and pole position here this afternoon. This is race 1 of 3 here at the magnificent Paul Ricard Circuit. Through the chicane, which is, I will say, and this is obviously just a personal opinion, unfortunately in use here this weekend. It does slow the cars down on the almost 1 mile Mistral straight. What a tremendous sight it is when the chicane is not in use. And the cars rocket out of the Camp corner, out of Hotel Curve 4 and onto the Mistral straight. But you can see the chicane is in use here this weekend. Up through Signes corner. For this, the first of 3 races here this weekend. Akshay Bora on pole position. He'll start from pole position for race 2 tomorrow morning as well. But it's Freddie Slater who starts out at grid 24, the championship leader, who's grid 1 for race 3 tomorrow afternoon. An hour and a half of racing here this weekend. Great to have your company as Rashid Alvaheri goes on through a confidence-boosting podium last week in the Tuscan countryside. Akshay Bora in 31 brings the field around. Jack Beaton, a couple of podiums last weekend at Mugello. He's 5th in the championship on 104 points. 4th in the series is Alex Powell on 124. There's Matthias Verheerder going through. Akshay Bora, the pole sitter, 3rd in the championship on 134 points. Hiyu Yamakashi, 2nd in the series, is the first of the 2 Japanese drivers in the field on 161 points, 79 points behind the championship leader, Freddie Slater, who just repeating a slow leak in qualifying. And the Englishman, who's on 240 points. He's the championship leader with 10 wins from 12 starts so far this year. Starts out of grid 24. "35 cars form up here at Paul Ricard. Round 5 of the championship. We wait for the green flag at the back of the grid, which flies now. The 5 red lights for the first time here in the south of France. We race. Great getaway from Akshay Bora as Hiyu Yamakashi ranges up the inside of the Queenslander. The boy from Brazil is almost off the circuit. Verheerder down the inside goes the South American. Locks up, and Yamakashi controversially goes straight ahead down through turn 3. It is Bora and Beaton who go 1-2. Yamakashi has rejoined after cutting the circuit in position 3. There's Alex Powell, frustrated is the Jamaican. Behind the Japanese driver as the field make their way down. Nakamura Berta, Dion Gauda, Rashid Al-Dahedi is also right there as well. It is Akshay Bora who leads the field. Up the back straight for the first time, Jack Beaton in 2nd place. Luca Vistoriano, another storming start for the boy from Bucharest for the Real Racing team. He goes wheel to wheel with the Singaporean. Kabir Anurag, one of 2 Alpine F1 Academy drivers in the field. There's Verheerder. Powell right behind him. Nakamura Berta. Gauda. Rashid Al-Dahedi. As they come out of the Mistral chicane, there is Gianmarco Pradell on the outside with Kostic just behind. Into Sinya's curve. At the end of the Mistral, back straight for the first time. It is Bora. Beaton. Yamakashi. Under a cloud at the moment is the Japanese driver who's 2nd in the series. There's Verheerder. Back in form is the Brazilian. In car 10 for the US racing team. Pradell's made a good start. There's Reno Frankart, the Dutchman. Just behind his battle as Rashid Al-Dahedi does do the right thing. He rides the ripple strip but keeps it on the circuit. The opening stages of race 1 of 3 here at Paul Ricard in the south of France. And it's Akshay Bora in car 31 for the German team who leads the way. There's Rashid Al-Dahedi fighting wheel for wheel. Wheel to wheel, I should say, with Gustav Jonsson. Maxim Rem cops a touch big time from Thomas Stoltemanis. Wow, the Latvian into the back of the German. Big contact into the final corner. Incredibly, they continue on as we start the 2nd lap of the first race. This battle rages on. Rashid on the outside. Loses the position. Gustav Jonsson goes through, and the Swede up into position 8. There's Maxim Rem just behind. Take a look at this, into the final corner. Maxim Rem into the middle of the circuit, just missed the drive. Slam from the Latvian. Thomas Stoltemanis in the Prema racing car right into the back. They do continue on though. Pradella with a good start. He's now knocking on the door of the top 10 for the US racing team. There's the first of the 2 Sydney-siders in the field. It is their teammates, plural, 1 and 2, who lead the way. It is Akshay at the front of the pack, ahead of Jack. We go back to Hiyu Yamakashi. No word from race control yet from Yamakashi, who did controversially cut the circuit in the opening stages as we see the 2 teammates go wheel to wheel. Ram and Bradell back to Stoltemanis. Frankov, Visorianu, what a start from Luca. The rookie from Bucharest, the team from Bucharest, the rookie team. As we still see the US racing teammates go side by side. Ram, Bradell and Thomas Stoltemanis, the Latvian, tries to slam it up the inside of Gianmarco. Now he tries the outside. Fantastic racing in the first of 3 races here. As Jonsson goes off the road, does well to bring it back on, loses time to Rashid Al-Bahedi. Stoltemanis hangs it out wide, he's on the outside. The outside becomes the inside. And the Latvian has split the 2 US racing drivers. Thomas Stoltemanis, multiple WSK race winner with the Energy Corsa team. Will he slam it up the inside? Not this time, almost runs into the back of Rem again. Ferocious racing here in the south of France. It is Akshay Bora who leads the way. Beaten 7/10 of a second behind his teammate. And it's Yamakashi Ferreira Powell, the top rookie. The Jamaican from the second Japanese driver, King Nakamura Berta. Gauda, Rashid Al-Bahedi, Jonsson, Rem, Stoltemanis, Bradell, Frankos, and then this battle. That is Luca Visoriano fighting with Davide Larini. The Tuscan on the inside of Kabir Anurag. Almost made contact. That's nice driving from both the Tuscan and the Singaporean, the second Alpine F1 Academy driver. As we see Lynn Hodenuas down into pit lane, the Dutch driver for the Dutch Van Amersfoort racing team, who go to work. He'll drop way down to the bottom of the field. I can tell you that just leaving pit lane is Kai Dadianani, who had to start from the back of the pit, back of the grid after a clutch exploded in qualifying. Just coming to pit lane, obviously still plaguing a driver who's been racing in the British Championships, joining us here in France for the Grand Motorsport team. Into Cindy's curve. Rod Della just ahead of Ethan Isha, Filippo Fiorentino. That's Olivieri on the inside, trying to make up places. The 2 Italians fighting. Davide Larini just ahead, as is Andrea Kostic. Olivieri just behind Larini. Kostic, Kabir Anurag just skips away, does the Singaporean for the moment. As you look at Gianmarco Bradell, we try and settle into a rhythm. Stoltemanis goes through. That's Visoriano. Back to Anurag. And Davide Larini, the second generation racer for the PHM racing team. Border, the gap goes down 1/10 of a second. It is Border from Beaton. And the team which took the Drivers' Championship in 2023 with Kasper Stuka. They go 1-2. Yamakashi second in the championship. I can tell you, Freddie Slater has pulled into pit lane. It looks as though the Englishman, as we look at the 2 PHM racing drivers, Kamal Murad and Maximilian Popov, who took a rookie podium last week at Mugello. Freddie Slater has pulled into pit lane. This may well be a tactical decision. We're starting from grid 24. Remember, these drivers have 8 Pirelli tyres to choose from for the 2 qualifying sessions and the 3 races. It is a scorching afternoon here in the south of France. Okay, that's a slight exaggeration, but that's been the talk of the weekend. How hot is it? Depending on which part of the world you are from. It's actually been a lovely afternoon, but regardless, you can see it has been, well, you can see the heat haze simmering here as they come up into Signeur's Curve. And tyre degradation is critical. Freddie Slater pulls into pit lane to try and conserve 2 sets of tyres. Remember, he starts from pole position for race 3. Was getting nowhere, at best a top 10 finish. That won't happen. Slater is out, gets nothing from this. Only the 3rd race of 2024, the 3rd out of 13, where he does not get a result. Remember, he's won 10 of them. That won't happen this afternoon. If Yamakashi does not take the victory, and at the moment the first of the 2 Japanese drivers goes through in position 3, if it's not Hiyu who takes P1, we'll have a new race winner for only the 3rd time in 2024. Dion Gauda goes on through in position 7. Behind King Nakamura Berta, the rookie, the Alpine F1 Academy driver, as they come out of turn 15. The gap stays at 0.6 of a second. Rashid Al-Daheri with a 2-minute 6.206, marginally faster than Porter. He's the fastest on circuit, is the Emirati, who took a podium last week at Mugello. Car 14, Rashid in P8 behind Dion Gauda, Gustav Johansson and Maxim Rams. Car 71 for the US racing team rounds out the 10. Stoltemanis, Pradel, Rino Francot, Luca Vistoriano, Kabir Anurag, Larini. And then this battle between Andrea Kostic, Olivieri for the AKM Motorsport team, and the sole remaining R-Race GP car, it's Enzo Ye from Chinese Taipei. Already the first third of this race. Border, it's down to 0.5 of a second. Akshay, 2 pole positions in qualifying this morning for this race 1 here. And also race 2 tomorrow morning here at Paul Ricard, the arguably the finest motorsport facility in Europe and certainly one of the top 5 in the world. It is world class as they come up what used to be the base of the Toyota Formula 1 team. Yes, you know what I'm referring to. They used to be based on the inside of Sinya's curve, the former Toyota Formula 1 team. You've read the headlines. They're finally, after a year, been published. Some of us don't have to bite our tongue any further. The Paul Ricard Circuit, also the home of the SRO Motorsport Group. Racing here this weekend with the GT Open Championship, the Euro Formula Open Championship. Speaking of Toyota, they are back with the all-new look Euro Formula Open in 2025, powered by Toyota, and the Formula Regional European Championship racing here. Rafael Camara, who raced with us in the Italian F.4 Championship, taking victory earlier on this afternoon, the first ever Formula Regional race taking place here in 2019. And of course, that was launched by WSK Promotion together with Agi Sport. For the inaugural champion, Frederick Vesti, in 2019. 2020 was, of course, Gianluca Petikov. The first Formula Regional race, 6 years ago now, 2019, at this very Paul Ricard Circuit. Super wide line from Dion Gauda, trying to line up KNB. The former Junior World Kart Racing champion, the only Junior World Kart Racing champion in the field, because Freddie Slater, if you're just joining us, has retired. A slow puncher, it wasn't even a puncher, it was a slow leak. He lost pressure in qualifying. Only 24th on the grid, just 2 laps, and he retires. There's Akshay Bora into the chicane at the middle of the Mistral Straight. The gap stays at 0.5 a second. Back to Jack, the Queenslander. Possibly the only Queenslander celebrating after New South Wales win the State of Origin the other night. He is a New South Wales Welshman proudly, as you see this battle between Stoltemanis and the Sydney-sided Marco Pradel. If you know, you know. Beaten in second place, loses 1/10 of a second. Pradel knocking on the door of the top 10. Thomas Stoltemanis right behind. Back to Rino Francot van the Netherlands. Van Lengst naar rechts for Rino Francot. The top Genza Motorsport driver in position 13 at the moment. Vistoriano just behind his dragon. There is the Romanian. What a performance from Luca Vistoriano, the rookie from Bucharest. The rookie team in the Italian F.4 Championship. Over a decade experience racing in WSK World Kart Racing. Former drivers including Luigi Coluccio, Enzo Trulli as well for the Real Racing team. This is their first season in single-seater car racing, and Luca Vistoriano, who took a rookie podium at Vallelunga in Rome, is driving superbly. He's not far outside the top 10 as Dion Gauda goes through, still in position 7. Approaching half-race distance, and it is 7/10 between Bora and Beaton. This is King Nakamura Bertha trying to pull away from Dion Gauda. There's Rashid Al-Daheri just behind. The Emirati car 14 in P8. Janssen and Maxim Ram, the German for the German-US racing team, rounds out the 10. Up the Mistral straight, Dion Gauda driving as hard as he possibly can, trying to catch up to K&B and get the slipstream. Hard onto brakes, into the chicane. In the middle of the Mistral straight, the inconveniently placed chicane in the middle of the straight. There's Rashid going on through. Incidentally, Alex Powell, P5, the top rookie, Kane Nakamura-Berta, 6th, the second rookie, and Maxim Rem rounds out the 10, the 3rd in the rookie race. Everett Stack has unfortunately also joined. Freddie Slater in pit lane, as has Enia Frey. Lynn Hodenuis, after pitting a few moments ago, the final runner, and Kay Dadianani rounds out the field as the final runner behind Nathaniel Berby and Victor Dobzhansky in 31st place. Akshay Bora comes back onto the main straight from Beaton. The gap stays at 0.7 of a second. There's Yamakoshi. Still no word from race control after going straight ahead. Direct instructions as we pass the halfway point of this first race of the weekend from our race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari. Track limits last week, well, as you know, at Mugello, there's more sand on the exit of the corners there than you'll find on a beach in the south of France. Here in Paul Ricard, the first circuit to implement this type of track runoff system. Yeah, the white line implementation. There are some, as they're called, floppies. It doesn't really translate into English. Some cones on the outside of the circuit. And then, as if we're playing football, it's the white line adjudication. Frustrating for many. As Jake Beaton, with an 05.879, takes 1/10 of a second out of his teammate into the chicane. Hard under brakes. Spectacular images here as Beaton throws it on through. He takes 1/10 of a second out of his teammate Yamakoshi Ferreira. Alex Powell, the Jamaican sensation, the Mercedes AMG F1 Junior in P5, and the top rookie. Almost close enough to get the slipstream from Matias Ferreira. There's Rashid behind Dion Gauda, tries the outside. They go wheel to wheel at well over 200 kilometers an hour. What a move from Aldehedi. Can he hold on to it? Dion on the inside. Rashid is still there. Backs out of it, cuts back down the inside. Superb from the Emirati. Dion still there. They go wheel to wheel. Just brilliant racing from Dion and Rashid. They fight for position 7. Coming down the hill into turn 15. Rashid on the outside. It becomes the inside. Dion holds on to it. Rashid makes the place. Dion ducks back on the inside. Brilliant racing from both Dion Gauda and Rashid Aldehedi, who takes avoiding action at the exit of turn 15. They come down the main straight. 223 kilometers an hour. Rashid is on the inside. Finally he's gone through. Dion's there. Watch Janssen as well. Gustav, the Swede, has come to fight. Sensational racing between the trio on your screen. Aldehedi has finally gone through into P7. Watch Janssen in the background. Superb from Dion. Rides the ripple strip. Janssen, the Swede for Van Amersfoort Racing, versus the two drivers ahead, both for the team from Vicenza, the Prema Racing team. Janssen over the ripple strip. He'll lose valuable engine RPM as they come onto the Mistral straight. Rashid Aldehedi, Dion Gauda, they go wheel to wheel for the best part of a lap. And finally, the Emirati, who took a superb podium 7 days ago at Mugello, has gone through to 7th place. Nakamura-Berta escapes clear of that battle. Dion now fighting with Gustav Janssen, goes in deep, slides sideways on the exit. Janssen loses the front wing. That's the ball game for the Swede, Gustav Janssen. Oh no, he loses the front wing. Just collapses. The slightest touch under the back of car 50. Jansson's in trouble here. Maxim Rem goes on by. And the Swedish driver for the Dutch team here in the south of France and the Italian Championship will have to pit for a new front wing. It's effectively the end of the Swedes' afternoon. It is still hanging on just. Rem goes on by for P10. Starting to vibrate the front end of the car. Still driving hard though and goes straight into pit lane. Gustav Jansson will watch the Van Amersfoort racing team go to work hard on the brakes down to the 60km/h limit. As Beaton still stays there, closes up a tenth of a second now at 222 km/h across the start-finish line. Still Jack Beaton with the fastest lap of the race. Twice he did that last week as the Van Amersfoort racing team go to work. Again, a purple lap for Jack, an 05.794. The gap half a second. Another tenth out of Akshay this time. As Gustav Jansson leaves pit lane with a new front wing attached. The Swede is back in the race, but down in last place. As Yamakoshi, P3 valuable points in the championship. Remember, Freddie Slater is out. If Yamakoshi does not take the victory, we will have a new race winner for only the third time in 2024. And at the moment, almost certainly, it looks to be a US racing driver as Jack now gets the slipstream into Cindy's curve. Down to 0.4 of a second. Letting his teammate do all the work. Sliding on the rubber. On a warm afternoon here in the south of France. Jack locks up in car 45. Rides the ripple strip at the exit, driving as hard as he possibly can. 2 podiums last week. But it was not the top step the Australian stood on. Desperate to go one better. Akshay Border, second year in the series for both of these drivers. Both looking for their maiden breakthrough victory in the 2024 championship. Akshay will also start pole position for race 2 tomorrow morning as Hiyu Yamakoshi looks to take his third victory of 2024 and at least cement second place in the series. There's Rashid Al-Hedi going through after that super battle earlier on. Dion Gauda, Maxim Rem, GMP at Gianmarco Bradell now inside the top 10. Great drive from Gianmarco. He's got the better of Thomas Dolcemanos, Rino Franco, Kabir Anurag, Visoriano, Davide Lavini, Kostic, Olivieri, Enzo Ye, Isha, and Maximilian Popov. A rookie podium last week. Rounds out the 20s. You see Dion slam it over the ripple strip down into the hotel turn 5. The heat haze rising. It is just over 30 degrees Celsius here on the south of France. Not too far from the French Riviera, situated approximately halfway between Marseille and Nice. Not too far from Monte Carlo either here. And the magnificent Paul Ricard Circuit. Bernie's backyard, yes, it was upgraded by Mr. E himself. And what a world-class facility it is. The German team run 1-2 with Akshay Bora. Younger brother of Nikhil Bora, also racing here in the Formula Regional European Championship. Their father Bunty here for only the second time in about 2 years. Finally being able to see both his boys race. And it's worth the trip from New York if Akshay can hold on for another 7 minutes plus 1 lap. Maxim Rem going on through in 71. Head of Gianmarco Bradell, who still rounds out the top 10. This is Matheus Ferreira from Brazil. Alex Powell, the Mercedes AMG Junior, the top rookie driver in P5, second year in the series for Ferreira. Second a few seasons ago for Kart Republic in the WSK Supermasters Kart Racing Series. His manager, Gastel Fraguas, 1995 World Kart Racing Champion for the Marechal Tony Kart team. almost 3 decades ago now, mate. Castellet here at the circuit when he beat Jensen to the title at Valence. Not too far from here, in fact. Albeit 3 decades ago. Here's Mathieu's manager. And Ferreira not too far off a podium. He has the Japanese driver who is second in the series, third in the race. The only stumbling block between himself and his first podium in what has been a tough 2024 season for the South American. The gap stays approximately the same, 0.7 of a second, seesawing, depending on the sector. Into the final stage as Akshay Bora has not put a foot wrong, or more precisely, a Pirelli tyre out of place. Pulls away slightly now from Beaton as Mathieu closes in on the back of Hiyu Yamakashi. Senses an opportunity to make it onto the podium for the first time in 2024, but not only that, remember, at the moment, it is a US Racing 1, 2 and 4. If he can get by Yamakashi, who is still second in the series, the German team of Gerhard Unger and Ralf Schumacher would take 1, 2, 3 on the podium, trying to stretch the memory. That may be the first time ever, if he can do it. 450 plus 1 lap remaining for the South American. Mathieu's Ferreira on the charge now is the Brazilian. Gets the slipstream from the Japanese driver, the Jamaican behind as well. The Mercedes AMG Junior in P5 and still the top rookie. As Border pulls away from Beaton, the gap almost out to a second. Surely Akshay will take it from here. Beaton on your screen. Car 45 for the Queenslander. Almost 3 seconds clear, back to Yamakashi. A clean race, no safety car intervention, thankfully, here in race 1 of 3. Round 5 of the Italian Championship here in the south of France. It is the New Yorker from the Queenslander, Hiyu Yamakashi from Tokyo in Japan, P3. The 17-year-old for the Dutch team, Van Amersfoort Racing, who took the title in 2021 with Ollie Behrman, and of course in 2019 with Dennis Hauger. The US Racing drivers 1, 2 and 4. Perfect line from Yamakashi. Same can be said for Alex Powell. Fastest lap of the race, still Jack Beaton. An 05.794. But his losing time, Akshay Bora, superb out front. 3:23 plus 1 lap on the clock here in the south of France. Round 5, the 2024 Italian F.4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion, together with Acci Sport, the Automobile Club of Italy. Sideways from Yamakashi. That gives Ferreira hope. The gap 1 second between Border and Beaton, down to half a second between Yamakashi and Ferreira. The team from Cologne in Germany, the driver from New York. In P1, 240 plus 1 lap. Border willing it on to become the 3rd race winner of 2024 after Freddie Slater. Remember, the championship leader has retired. As the gap out to 1.3 seconds. Surely that's the end of the match for Jack Beaton. This is his teammate, Mathieu's Ferreira. Alex Powell goes on through P5 and still the top rookie. The Jamaican on the back of the Brazilian. And then the driver from the land of the rising sun, Hiyu Yamakashi, still on the podium in 3rd place. Ferreira rides the ripple strip. 2 minutes plus 1 lap. So this may well be the penultimate. We may get 2 laps after this, depending on when they cross the line. Quickly conferring with race control. The gap 1.3 seconds. You can visibly see Beaton has lost touch with Akshay Bora. Ferreira behind Yamakashi into the chicane. heat haze still rising here at Paul Ricard. We expect there to be 2 laps remaining at the end of this one. They should cross the line just in time. The gap stays 1.2 seconds. This is the battle for third place. Critical through the corner where Charles went straight ahead a couple of seasons ago. Slight lock up from Ferreira. .2 seconds. Border's got this under control. They will cross the line before the 30-minute mark of this race. There is Jack, 2 podiums at Mugello last week. He is 5th in the championship. He'll pick up 2nd place points, you would think, as they cross the line with 30 seconds remaining to start lap 14. The gap, 1.3 seconds. This is surely the penultimate lap of the race. Just over 10 kilometers, approximately 6 miles remaining. Race 1, round 5 for the Italian F.4 Championship, the 11th season of the world's most competitive junior motor racing series. And this is coincidentally the 11th circuit that the Italian F.4 Championship has ever raced at. Rides the ripple strip down through turns 4 and 5 into the hotel corner to try and get maximum RPM as they come up the Mistral straight with the chicane in the middle of it. Yamakoshi running wide, burning the Pirelli tyres. Remember, just 8 tyres, 2 sets for both qualifying and the 3 races, 1.5 hours of racing. Freddie Slater, well, the Englishman gets nothing out of race 1, but he will have a new set, or virtually a new set. That's ominous for races 2 and 3 tomorrow, where he does start pole position. Akshay Bora starts pole position for race 2. And it looks as though Akshay is on his way to a maiden victory in the 2024 championship. The Indian Singaporean from New York for the German team here in the south of France in the Italian F4 Championship will come across the line to get the last lap board. You may remember what happened to James Wharton 12 months ago when he dominated at the similar point of the weekend, only for a fuel pump to fail. At that point right there, he crossed the line to finish in P2. As they come out of the final corner, the gap comes down slightly. As we start the final lap of the race, slightly, it's come down from 1.3 to 0.8 of a second. Border from Beaton. US Racing, 1, 2 and 4. Ferreira still stuck behind Yamakoshi. This is the last lap of the race. Akshay Bora almost certainly to become the 3rd winner of the championship, which has so far been dominated by the Englishman. Rides over the ripple strip at the bottom part of the circuit. Car 31 from 45. Yamakoshi still from Ferreira. Alex Pauki, Nakamura Berta. 0.6 of a second. One final crack from Jack. He tries to get the slipstream. Yamakoshi looks good in 3rd place. Into the Mistral chicane, right in the middle of the Mistral straight. For the final time, Border checks his mirrors, the 2 teammates. Jack closes right up though, throws it in, and will lose slightly on the exit. Up the top of the Mistral straight, past the former Toyota Formula One headquarters. For the final time, Akshay Bora has been superb. This is the final lap. He will certainly become, oh, I hope, for his sake, the 3rd different winner of 2024. Back out to a second. Jack on the podium for the 3rd time in 4 races, you would think. The Australian again in 2nd. A brilliant try from pole position. He runs down the hill for the final time. Here at Paul Ricard in the south of France, Akshay Bora from pole position. The Indian Singaporean from New York for the German team here in the south of France in race 1, round 5 of the Italian F4 Championship. Accelerates out of the final corner. The checkered flag waves. Border takes victory here at Paul Ricard. Jack Beaton on the podium second. Yamakashi holds off Ferreira. The Japanese driver second in the championship on the podium, ahead of Ferreira and Powell, the top rookie. US Racing 1, 2 and 4. Nakamura Berta comes home 6 ahead of Rashid Al-Dahedi. Dion Gowda, great recovery from Jamako Bradell in P9, and Maxim Rem. We have to count them. There are 5 US Racing drivers inside the top 10. The German team has dominated here in race 1 of the Italian F4 Championship. Savinkov crosses the line ahead of Fiorentino, Ed Robinson. Alvise Rodella just ahead. The AKM Motorsport drivers going on through. Betterby, Holguin. Lynn Herdenuis ahead of Frey. But it is all about the German team here as they come up the Mistral Straight. Akshay Bora takes victory here. Hiyo Yamakashi races back to pit lane. P3 controversially somewhat after that first corner start. No word from race control, so it looks good for Hiyo Yamakashi. Bora unbeaten. He takes the victory ahead of Jack. And Hiyo Yamakashi holds off Matheus Ferreira for the final step of the podium. Confirmation that Akshay Bora has taken victory here. He's only the 3rd different race winner of 2024. For our English fans, don't worry. Freddie Slater has still got the lead in the championship comfortably too. Jack Beaton, P2 for the Australian. Again, Hiyo Yamakashi, P3, splits the US Racing driver. Great to see Matheus Ferreira back in form. P4, Alex Powell, the Jamaican, P5 and the top rookie home. Nakamura Berta, Rashid Al-Dahedi, Gowda, Pradell, Ram, Stoltemanis, Francot, Anurag Larini, Luca Vistoriano, P15 from Kostic, the sole Serbian, Isha Olivieri, Ye, Maximilian Popov, Murad Alvise Rodella ahead of Savinkov, Fiorentino, Ed Robertson, Jan Koller, Dobshansky, Gabriel Holguin, and Gustav Jonsson. Remember, he was in the fight for the top 5 until losing the front wing earlier on. A quick pit stop by the Van Amersfoort Racing team. He heads home, Nathaniel Betterby. Dadianani does take the checkered flag. And Lynn Herdenuis, the first of the non-finishers. We'll see him and the rest of the field back for race 2 tomorrow morning. Akshay Bora takes victory. This is Hiyo Yamakashi, P3, and still second in the series for the 17-year-old from Tokyo. This is the race winner. Akshay Bora will stand on the top step of the podium finally in 2024. A couple of podiums last week at Mugello. US Racing 1, 2 and 4. And 9 and 10 as well. Remember, they took the Drivers' Championship with the Pole Kasper Stuka in 2023. This is the race winner, Akshay Bora, P1, finally. Bora has done it. He wins in the Italian F4 Championship for the first time in 2024. Hiyo and Jack. So Akshay Bora, third in the championship, makes his way up to the podium now. 134 points coming into this race. Behind Hiyu Yamakoshi on 161, quickly trying to do some mathematics. Just give me a moment. So that's 159 for Akshay Bora. Put an asterisk beside that. Maxim Rem to the right. Good drive from the German rookie. P10, yes, for the US racing team. So yes, 159 points for Akshay Bora. But Hiyu Yamakoshi in third place, cements second in the series from the start. Jack was beaten off the line. A perfect start from Akshay Bora. As Matheus Ferreira ran down the inside, Hiyu Yamakoshi right into the middle of the circuit. But watch the Van Amersfoort racing driver. Says, I'll go straight ahead, thanks. He wasn't the only one. As a good half dozen cars went straight ahead. Stoltemanis into the back of Maxim Rem. Incredibly, they both continued on. A fabulous fight between Dion Gauda and Rashid Aldeheri. This was exemplary. Just brilliant from the Latvian and the Emirati. Rashid getting the better, finally, of Dion Gauda, the Singaporean, I should say. Stoltemanis just a couple of positions behind. Gustav Jonsson unlucky to be caught up in that battle, losing the front wing, but out front, Akshay Bora was unstoppable. He takes his first victory in the 2024 championship. Hiyu Yamakoshi, third here, and cements second place in the championship. Jack beaten 2 second places last week at Mugello, and second again. Nice to see him smiling. Jack, you need a haircut, mate. Celebrates in second place. But no one with a bigger smile, and he deserves this. Akshay Bora takes victory here at Paul Ricard in the south of France. Celebrates with his teammate and also Hiyu Yamakoshi. What an international podium this is. Bora, the Indian Singaporean from New York in the United States of America for the German team here in the south of France. In the Italian Championship, leads home a US Racing 1-2. Mr. Raffaele Gianmaria, representing the Automobile Club of Italy, to present the trophies here to Hiyu, Jack and Akshay Bora. Akshay Bora has broken through to take his first victory in the 2024 championship. He leads home a US Racing 1, 2 and 4th. Freddie Slater, a DNF here this afternoon, but he is still the championship leader. Border wins here race 1, and he starts on pole position for race 2 again tomorrow morning. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage here from the south of France. Thank you for watching. We'll see you from race 2 tomorrow from Paul Ricard, round 5 of the Italian F4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion together with Archie Sport. Thanks for watching. We'll see you for race 2 tomorrow morning.